Now, Tyrion 8 begins with the forces of Tywin setting up camp for the night, and their scouts from Sir Adam Marbrand have revealed to us they know the Starks are moving south from the Twins, so this is definitely showing how close these two factions are getting now. And Tywin notes that they are most likely no more than a day's march north from their position. Lord Lefford is with them, and he is in charge of their stores and supplies, and he seems quite annoyed with Tyrion as he has had to armour 300 tribesmen who have came with Tyrion into battle. It is then revealed by Tywin's brother Kevin that they intend to put Tyrion and his tribesmen in the vanguard, and so they are the most likely to die first in the battle. It is noted that Tyrion's force are also very eager to fight and constantly infight with himself, which Tywin notes is at fault with their commander, Tyrion, as a real commander would keep them in line. And Tyrion even thinks to himself that Jaime was good at this, however, Tyrion himself lacks this way. He buys loyalty with gold and compels obedience with the thought of the fact that he is a Lannister. Upon it being revealed that Tyrion himself would not actually have commanded, that he is serving under Sir Gregor, he excuses himself from the table against the laughs of the men and makes his way out into the camp. Coming to his camp, he finds that Bronn is sitting with his new servants, and there is a slim, dark-haired girl with them who is no more than 18 years of age, and they are feasting on trout which Bronn has caught in the river. His squire is noted to be Podrick Payne, who is a distant cousin of Sir Ilan Payne, the king's headsman, and the boy himself is also pretty much mute. Although he does still have a tongue, he is just not very much of a talker, and Tyrion considers him being given as his squire to be part of some form of joke. Now, we find that Bronn has brought him a woman to share the night with, and this woman takes the name of Shay. Now, there is theories that Shay is in actual fact an alias, and that she is one of the Dornish Sandsnake sisters, which is a theory I find intriguing and want to look more into as we progress through the story. And what I do find interesting is the fact that her description does indeed seem to fit that of someone who is Dornish. And we also find here that there is comment can be made on the fact that she refers to him as Milord, which, if anyone remembers the infamous scene from the show when Arya is posing as a commoner, Tywin notes to her that highborns say my lord, lowborns say my lord, which at face value would seem to indicate that she is lowborn. However, if she is actually a highborn Dornish child and she is actually good at spying, she would know to say my lord in order to keep her cover. And so Tyrion reveals that it has been near enough a year since the events of his last sexual escapade, which would have been before he set north for Winterfell with his brother and King Robert. Now later, Tyrion questions Bronn on where he found her, and he notes that he took her from a knight, and the man did not want to give her up until he revealed Tyrion's name and put a dirk up to his throat. May or may not be true, as Bronn is himself a sketchy character, and as we have seen so far, is easily swayed in his loyalties, and it makes sense that since the previous Tyrion chapter has shown him meeting Tywin, it's entirely possible that Tywin has orchestrated Bronn's allegiance already, as Tywin himself can easily outmatch any wager Tyrion would place on Bronn's loyalty. And this may actually make sense, as Bronn reveals that he is to be beside Tyrion in battle, which is something that presumably only Tywin would decide. So either Tywin has relayed this information to someone, or Tywin has told Bronn directly because he is now in his employ and is secretly being charged with keeping Tyrion safe, as from Tywin's perspective, even though he wants rid of Tyrion, it would not bode well for him to lose his son in battle, as it would besmirch his family name. When Tyrion returns to Shay, he questions her about the man that Bronn took her from, and she notes that he is a minor retainer of an insignificant lordling, which is at odds with what Bronn had told him, as Bronn said it was some knight. So clearly their stories are not adding up because somebody here is lying. They are, however, later awoken by the sound of trumpets, and Shay wakes him, saying that she is frightened. It is revealed that Robb has in fact crept down the King's Road at night with his forces, and now his host is less than a mile north, forming up in a battle array, and has basically snuck up on them. Tyrion is armoured and ready for battle, and it is noted that he wields a shield made of ironwood covered in steel, and then arms himself with a battle axe. So Tyrion and his mountain men join the formation of Tywin's army, and we find that Kevin is raising his standards on the King's Road, and he's leading the centre as the sun rises in the distance. The right wing is all cavalry, 4,000 men, and most of the knights are there as well, led by Sir Adam Marbrand. And we see that the banner of Marbrand is a burning tree, orange with smoke, and behind him is Sir Flemont, his purple unicorn, the brindled boar of Craighall, and the bantam rooster of Swift. Tywin himself is in command of the reserve, holding back and watching the battle unfold, commanding the forces where they need to go. Tyrion and his force join the vanguard on the left, and we see the banner of Gregor Clegane here with 3 black dogs on a yellow field. And so the battle commences, and during the conflict, Tyrion ends up eventually defeating a knight as he uses the spike on his helmet that he is wearing to stab the knight's horse in order to force him to the ground and maim the man, so the man is ended up taken into their custody. However, eventually, despite the fact that the left flank here has obviously been set up to fail, Tywin sweeps up with the reserve and takes their victory. It is also revealed to us that Tyrion's mountain tribes had actually ruined Tywin's plan here, as he expected the left side to collapse, fully anticipating Robb as a young man to blatantly barge into the weakest part of the army, and so that would allow the centre and the right to flank round and basically enclose them against the river and trap them, allowing the reserve to sweep in and wipe them out. It's at this point that Sir Adam Marbrand rides up, and we are revealed that he is in actual fact a redhead with dark copper hair, and also that he wears bronzed steel. And again we are reminded of his sigil, which is a fiery tree, which makes me think of weirwood, as they themselves appear to be trees that look from a certain angle to be on fire due to the red leaves. And he reveals to them that they are taking hostage several of the commanders of the Northern Army: Lord Kerwin, Sir Willis Manderley, Harrion Karstark, and 4 Freys. However, Lord Hornwood has died in the battle, and Roose Bolton has escaped. He then reveals that Robb Stark was not with them, and that they told him he crossed at the Twins with the great parts of his horse, riding hard for River Run, which is interesting, as why would they reveal this strategy to him even though they have been captured?